Hey you guys, welcome back to Fins and Whiskers. My name is Shine, and we are going to do another cage cleaning video. Maybe you're tired of these videos. I hope not, but last time I didn't show cleaning the other side of the enclosure, so we are going to do that today. And I also wanted to answer a couple of questions that I get often about cage cleaning and all that jazz. So for this video, I decided to put the gerbils in a travel carrier just so they weren't in the way, because they often try to come to the side of the bedding. No matter how I block them to the sand, they find a way. They're just masters of escaping. They're escape artists, and so we move them. Probably the most frequent question I get asked about cleaning is how often to change the bedding. Now, it's up to you. Honestly, it's a personal choice. There are many factors to keep in mind. If your enclosure is smaller, then the cleanliness can be more demanding. If your enclosure is larger and you are able to provide lots of bedding, at least 8 inches or even more, then you really would only have to do it half once a month. And what I mean by this is that you would take half of the bedding out, and you would usually throw away the bottom half, and then the top half you would keep and just put back in with new bedding. So you would be getting rid of half of the bedding once a month. Now, bedding can be expensive, so I do like to mix things in. You can use hay, and I also get asked what hay is safe for them, and honestly, any hay that is safe for rabbits and guinea pigs is safe for gerbils and hamsters. But you just don't want it to be alfalfa. Alfalfa is actually not a hay, so just avoid that because it has a lot of calcium and it won't act the same as hay. They will eat it and they will just get too much calcium, which is really bad. So, but the other hays like oat, Bermuda, orchard, meadow, just all the different Timothy are safe, and you can use this to help make the bedding taller and to help them be able to make sturdy tunnels. And cleaning out half once a month will not only be less stressful for you, but also your gerbils, because they do need and like their scent in their enclosure. Even though they're very familiar with their enclosure, bedding helps a lot, and they will feel more comfortable having bedding that they know and have been using. Now, I did a full cage cleaning this time. It was actually 2 months since I changed the bedding, which I don't normally do, but I did spot clean a bit weekly, so it was okay. But since that was something that I don't really do, I did decide to do a full cleaning, and I really only kept a small percentage of the bedding, the old bedding, and so that they could still have the scent, but I didn't keep that much. Definitely not half, because it was old and it was time. As for what bedding I use, I also covered this question in my frequently asked questions about gerbils video, but I use a mixture. Sometimes I use KT Clean and Cozy in just the plain white, but I've recently switched over to Small Pet Select, and I'm just using their white bedding. And there's really no difference for me that I've noticed they're both equally great bedding. I really like both of them. So if you don't have KT Clean and Cozy but you have Small Pet Select, I really would recommend that, or vice versa. They are both great brands. Now, I avoid any kind of bedding that has scent, because these are going to mess with your gerbil's respiratory system. Another question that I get asked a lot is, what do I use for my divider? Now, I have already said that the divider I use I would not recommend, because it is Coroplast, which is kind of, I think it's a plastic, and so You really don't want your gerbils chewing this. The reason why I'm using it is because they don't chew it, and because, well, I've made it so that they can't. Now, I will say that I have made my fair share of gerbil mistakes, and the reason why I have 2 bricks and things on every side of the chloroplast is so that they can't chew what they did. I underestimated gerbils. I thought that it was flat enough that they couldn't, of a surface that they couldn't, but they were able to take the tiny bends that the sides of the chloroplast made and try and chew a hole, and they did. And they did make 2 holes very quickly. So now I would have switched back to cardboard or even used a wood block and just cut out a space like this one is made to do. However, I was able to make it work by putting bricks that they can't move for the life of them, and also heavy rocks that they also can't move for those corners, and so they just can't bother the chloroplast anymore. I've also covered in bendy bridges the sides where they go in and out so that they can't chew those either. So overall, my chloroplast I've made safe. However, if you can avoid the hassle that I went through, I would recommend it. And you can easily make one out of cardboard, and you can also make one with any bendy bridges. I've seen a lot of, in my reacting video, a lot of creative people, so you could check that out. And you can also, if you are any good at woodworking or know someone that is, you could measure and use wood and cut out a small slit so that they could go in and out. And yeah, another question that I get asked a lot is my sunflower dish. Now, you guys have loved this dish as much as I do, and it is so cute. It was handmade by Cutie Reptiles on Etsy. She's one of my great friends, and she is so talented, so I will link her shop in the description, so do check that out. And yeah, she makes amazing dishes. She made also for my rabbits, and they're just so beautiful, and you should definitely ask for one and get one for your gerbils or other pets that you have. You also want to know where I got my chala wood. Now, chala wood is very common in the fish hobby, so if you go to any aquarium store or maybe even the fish section of any animal store, you could probably find these. They're pretty popular for shrimp, and well, you just need to make sure that they're not already submerged in water. If they are dry, they have not yet been in any kind of contained water, so they will be safe for your gerbils. And you can find many different lengths. The one I found, I just got lucky. It was really just a random piece I selected, and I'm using now as a way for them to go to both sides. And lastly, I cleaned their sand section with a pasta strainer, and I just scoop out all the clumps of urine and also the feces and just bedding that they may have brought over by accident or on purpose, who knows, but they don't really bring that much bedding to that side. I've never had a problem with seeing the sand and, well, it being sand and usable as sand for them. Now, I do have this section of the sand. I do not use any kind of tray for the sand to be held in. They are kickers of bedding and everything, so they often kick sand out. So it's really recommended to have a section divided for your gerbils for their water and their wheel and sand, simply because they just will cover everything in bedding if they can. And having this divide will absolutely help you be able to keep a lot of sand contained in this area, and you might not even need any kind of tray or container to keep it in like I have. And with sand, you really don't need to replace it. You just need to scoop out all the bad stuff and, well, refill once you see that you've scooped out a lot over time, but it should last you a long time. But that's it for this cage cleaning video. I hope you guys found it helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below.